Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I will be providing my book review of the book Padawan by Kiersten White, the newest release in the Star Wars YA line of novels. The way I would describe this book is it is a fine adventure in the Star Wars universe, the operative word being the word fine. There is nothing particularly bad about this book, but at the same time, there's nothing particularly excellent or stellar about this book. It tells a good story, it covers all the bases that it needs to cover in order to pay off what's promised, but there's nothing in this book that really makes it truly stand out among others in the crowd. And so that's why it's a fine read. I think that younger viewers or readers will probably enjoy it quite a lot. Mid-teens will probably enjoy it more, maybe early teens. I don't think that young adults, like actual young adults or adults, will particularly like this because there is a lot in this book that is predictable. And as such, it might get frustrating for them. But still, it is a fine book. It is just a fun read, and let me get into my book review, but I will not have any spoilers in this. What really works for this book is the writing of Obi-Wan Kenobi. That sounds really like an easy low-hanging fruit since the book's literally about Obi-Wan Kenobi, but Kiersten White really gets the character of him as a young person. You know, in Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray, came out a few years ago, established the dynamic that Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon would have. And it really borrowed a lot from the Jude Watson Jedi Apprentice series, and which Dave Wolverton also contributed to. And this book carries a lot of the themes that those other books had as well, and particularly, I think, works as a good companion novel to Master and Apprentice, which takes place a couple years later in the timeline. So this one's a little bit earlier. Obi-Wan's a little bit younger here, but he still has the same insecurities, the same questions about what does it mean to be a Jedi, and what are the Jedi supposed to be doing, and he constantly has this feeling that he's the problem in his dynamic with Qui-Gon. He's making wrong decisions. And Qui-Gon, in Master and Apprentice, you get to see his perspective, but you really don't get to see that here. This just shows Obi-Wan's. And to a degree, Kiersten White really does get the character of Obi-Wan. There's nothing in here that feels unnatural about him. The dialogue he's using doesn't feel unnatural, nor do the situations or the beliefs that he has. But the biggest problem is that you could really fit in, if you had taken out Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and instead just created a new Master and a new Apprentice, this book would have worked just fine, and I think would have been better because it could have established us a new character. It doesn't do enough for Obi-Wan to really merit being a specifically Obi-Wan novel. I think that Obi-Wan is an easy character to market to fans, and so it's easier to sell the book if you make it an Obi-Wan book than an original Jedi. But I think the book would have benefited from having a new original character who can have an original dynamic. But still, Obi-Wan does feel good in this. It does feel like it's a natural companion to Master and Apprentice. I think personally that Master and Apprentice is a significantly, massively better book than this. So if I have to give a recommendation to either one, I would for sure recommend Master and Apprentice first. But if you liked that and you're looking for a very similar style, not style story, but feeling and tone, then this book will get you there. But the problem is that Qui-Gon is only present for a very short amount of time. Now, when he is present, I think that Kiersten White really did a good job getting his voice, but she only has so few lines of dialogue from Qui-Gon that she really isn't able to really shine with that. She only gets a few quick scenes with him. And as a result, this is a massively Obi-Wan Kenobi novel. So if you were hoping a Master and Apprentice dynamic, you're not getting that. Instead, you're getting just the Padawan by themselves, which is why this book is called Padawan. And there's other reasons why this book is called Padawan. There was very clever naming. I would not have named it because I don't like the generic names, the simplistic names for books. I prefer the more creative names. But still, this book, at least it fits. And I really also liked the beginning portions of the book when we're at the temple. We really explore the temple, get to understand it better. And we also get to meet other people in the temple. We get to see aspects of the temple we've never seen before. And we also get to see it from a young person's perspective. Sometimes we get it through a Jedi Knight's perspective or a Master's perspective. We don't always get it from a Padawan's perspective. So that was a little bit refreshing, but I wanted more in the temple. If I was talking about alternate titles, an alternate title for this book could be Obi-Wan and the Lost Boys. The main premise of the book is Obi-Wan goes away on a mission by himself to explore why this planet is so important. He doesn't know why it's so important, but he knows it's important. And he goes to this planet and he encounters a bunch of kids who are by themselves, have no parents, no one around with them. It's just a bunch of kids. And it's all about Obi-Wan learning why the kids are there, why they won't leave, why they can't leave, their dynamic with the planet, and other things. And that whole story unfolds in a very adequate, predictable formula. You can easily see where the story is leading you and the types of decisions Obi-Wan's going to make here, and you can see how the book's going to resolve. This 3/4 of the book, which occur on this planet, is where the book, I think, just coasts on that just perfectly adequate plane, because it never is able to do anything that's either shocking, revolutionary, or that really is impactful. There are moments in this book that do impact Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan certainly has a character journey in the book, but it's not an incredible amount. And in fact, when it comes to the actual plotting of this book, I would posit that the plot feels more like a middle grade plot, but with much more time to brew, which I actually sometimes really enjoy the middle grade plots. I do like some cheesy romances, which middle grades don't really have, but young adults sometimes do. There really isn't that here. There really isn't a romance here. And so because of that, it feels odd being a YA novel, yet still, it is a fun adventure. You will smile throughout, have fun reading the book, I think. But you will not feel, oh my goodness, this is amazing, like a lot of the other novels, including some of the YA novels. Part of what this book lacks is like a feeling of necessity. If this was one of a number of books, like imagine the Jude Watson Jedi Apprentice series is 15 books or something. If this was just a filler book in that sequence, it would feel more okay with me because it feels like it's filler building up to something somehow. Instead, by making this just a pure standalone novel, it feels like it wasn't enough to be worthwhile, which is again why I go back to the idea that this should have been an original character that we're spawning off of, a new Jedi apprentice and a new Jedi master, and this apprentice has a little adventure and now is ready to do more, and then you can write sequel books that do that. This book doesn't really have the right jump off. And if you're talking about Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, there are naturally really good Obi-Wan Qui-Gon stories that need to be told. The one that most fans clamor for, and that somehow has not happened yet, is the Obi-Wan Satine story about how they met and developed a relationship back when he was an apprentice. That storyline, I think, would really capture fans. I think that it's a storyline that would sell a lot of copies and make a lot of money, and I think it's something that would be genuinely like a good story to tell, would really advance the character of Obi-Wan himself, and would tie into other material. I wonder if this is just that Lucasfilm doesn't have the right author in mind, or that perhaps Filoni doesn't want anyone going in this direction because that's his story that he created for the Clone Wars. I don't know the specifics of why, but that's a story that feels a necessity to be told. This book doesn't have that kind of... If I were to give you more of the spoilers of this book, I don't think that it's anything that stands out from Legends or canon that speaks to its necessity, which is unfortunate. And sometimes you just want a fun space adventure, but sometimes you want a little bit more than that. And I kind of wish we had a little bit more than that here. I will say there are some great and clever references and some funny jokes throughout the book, and there is one character appearance. I can promise this. There's one character appearance that will make you happy and smile when you read it. And I was like, ooh, I'm interested in this character. And this character's not in it that much. But when this character isn't, I was like, ooh. And you can definitely tell there was some coordination among Team Trash Compactor between Kirsten White and between Mike Chen, who wrote Brotherhood, which is a really excellent novel in and of itself. And if you read the book, you will know exactly who I'm referring to. But anyway, getting to the end of my review, I think this is a fine book, and you may enjoy it, or you might feel like it wasn't worth your time. I really don't know how to... I don't want to unrecommend it, say don't read it, but at the same time, you might really enjoy it. This is one where I can't really give you a thumbs up or thumbs down on it because I genuinely don't know how people will react. For me, I can say I had fun in the moment of reading it, but once I'm done, I don't feel like I could ever return. There are several other YA books that I feel like I would love to reread because there's elements of them that just pull me back and also that I just find so invigorating and interesting. There's nothing in that here really for me, and that's what's really, I think, sad. So it's a fine book, but it's not a great book. My rating is I would give it like a 6.5 out of 10. It is still a positive review, but it's not amazing. So that's my review of Padawan. If you've read the book, let me know down in the comments section below what your thoughts are. If you're interested in reading the book, let me know that too. And also, if you've read other YA books, which other YA books do you really enjoy from Star Wars? So, until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.